Hey y'all, what's good? Welcome to Wake Up with Love. I am so glad you chose to start your morning with us today. This is a sacred space cultivated with spirit, heart, and purpose, designed to support you in becoming the greatest expression of the massive blessing you came into this world to be. So let's get into it.
Good morning, everybody. Betsy here. And Love and I are so excited to be back with you for another episode of Wake Up with Love. Today we are going to be talking about the words I'm sorry and why we should take them out of our vocabulary. So it should be an interesting conversation.
Yes, beautiful people. The Wake Up with Love is a liberation station. Our number one goal is to set us free, to distinguish and identify the traps that keep us locked in cycles that don't serve us, our families, or our communities, and empower us to really pay attention and see the things in our lives that do support our sovereignty, our personal authority, that which helps us to stand in the glory of what we came to be and the medicine that we are. So today I want to talk about sorry, not sorry. And, I want to just have an exploration with you. This is one that I would like you to take into your life and listen to. And as I'm praying on it this morning, one of the meanings of the message is this is not an idea that I'm giving you folks. After over 25 years working in the hypnotic arts and with the subconscious mind, I'm here to give you what I would call my professional opinion. And that opinion is that the I am sorry is three of the most destructive words that we use most commonly in our human vernacular and in our English vernacular, excuse me. And so that's a big statement, and I just want to take the time unpacking it with you today and looking at it from different angles. So the first thing I want to jump in with is the I am phrase. The I am phrase is the declaration that you are speaking to yourself what you are and what you are not. I think it is a phrase within itself that is rarely ever needed to be used. Because in actuality, can we, in the limited language of English, ever actually speak the majestic nature that we are? Can we actually speak the complexity of the magic that we are? Or are we only able to speak like individual facets at a time? Does that make sense, Betsy? My bridge? Maybe I need the bridge to come in here with me. Jump in with me. What am I saying to the people?
No, I think it makes a lot of sense because the truth is, the words I am are pretty all-encompassing. Like, I think I've heard you say, and other spiritual teachers say, too, that, like, the second you put anything after the words I am, you're essentially limiting your expansive, infinite nature, right? Because at the core, you are. And so to be mindful about what comes after I am is important.
Yes. And even on the positive, because I don't think a lot of people say that. I think a lot of people say, I am happy, I am positive, I am great, I am abundant. Right. And they're doing it as a positive affirmation without understanding there's actually a limitation from our ability to just be in the here now moment with whatever is here and then being with that, like looking for the gratitude, the gift in it, the teaching in it, the opportunity in it, or just a moment in it. How much of our current reality is wanting to get away from the moment or save the moment? Like it's actually so good, we want to take a picture of it, or it's so bad, we want to be anywhere but it,
Yeah.
And what we're speaking about here is, no, this moment is the only thing that you're promised. The fact that you're breathing right now, you have a promised moment. And coming here and spending it with us, man, what a rich experience that is. And that's why, once again, we made this a radio station so we can interact with each other as a community.
Yeah.
But let's keep diving in. Thank you, Betsy, for bridging that and just anchoring that in.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And can I actually add one last thing before we...
Please. Go. Yes.
What I'm realizing is I actually know a lot of people who, because of this, have stopped saying I am whatever and have started saying I feel. Because then they're naming an experience in the moment. You know, I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel grateful, I feel, you know, because then it's talking about a human experience, but it's not saying that you are that thing at your essence.
Exactly. And the natives, the indigenous folks would say, you know, as actually you're the one that brought this to me, Betsy, so I'll quote you, you know, from whoever you received it from, is that they would say that your emotions are visiting you.
Yeah.
Like that they come for a time. And there's a constant you. That's the you that's there with the anger, with the joy, with the love, with the grief, with the gratitude. And in between those states, there's a constant you.
Yes.
And that's the all-encompassing I am that is one with the divine, one with everything that is. And then there's these other things. And the moment we identify with them, we actually give them an unnecessary power over self by saying, I am angry. I am love. I am this. So
that's true.
This
and
could
so
be,
I think the way that they
course.
Well, I think the way that they changed that verbiage was to say, I'm being visited by anger, I'm being visited by fear. And they taught me to welcome them as, you know, relatives, right? You know, welcome anger, you know, thank you for coming. What do you have to teach me? Which is an incredibly powerful, you know, to just look at, okay, what is really any emotion, feeling, energy here to teach me?
Yes. And what if we even made it bigger and it was like, thank you, love, for coming to visit. Thank you, joy. I feel like when we experience positive things, we start gripping. Like we want them to stay. Like someone comes to visit
want
you
to hold on
and
to
they're
it
amazing.
Forever,
and then you want to lock them in the basement. You can never go home. Like, and it's like, no, this is for a moment. And when you're thinking about how sad you're going to be when they leave, you don't actually enjoy them when they're there fully, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
To visit, or when you want them to leave prematurely, you don't take the time to learn what they're here to teach you, as you said.
Right.
Reinforcing
your whole
what
time
you said.
resisting them. Yep.
Exactly. So let's jump in, folks. So, and one last piece, cognitive dissonance. It's actually they've been doing research that's showing that positive affirmation is actually a tricky thing, because if you're saying, I am beautiful, but your subconscious mind believes the lie that someone told you as a child that you are not that, then you're actually creating a cognitive dissonance within you. And so if you have things on the wall or all of these things, they're actually realizing that it could be ungrounding to do such a thing. Now, I have no professional opinion on this. I'm just sharing with what I've heard, and I'm exploring it. But what I've found is every emotion could be a good emotion or a good feeling if you turn it into right action. So if the affirmation, if the words is, I am beautiful, instead of saying the words, put into your life a practice that brings that state of beauty into your life. Give another person a compliment and raise the beauty, you know, raise beauty on the planet, just as we are. Generosity, when we don't feel like we have a lot to give, and we would say, I am abundant, but you don't feel abundant inside. That's a cognitive dissonance. Maybe instead of saying that, say, man, let me give a meal to someone in hunger. There's nothing more generous. There's nothing that's going to make you feel more abundant than giving something to someone else.
Yeah.
Like that lets you know you have something to give, which by its pure nature means that you're abundant. So it's in the actions that can concretize and become the words within themselves. Does that land?
Well, and you know,
as a
yeah, and now
concept?
you're going to send me down another rabbit hole, because the truth is, if you look at quantum physics, the way that we interact with the quantum field is actually not through statements, it's through questions. And so the act of making a statement and saying, I am such and such, or I have such and such, is actually not opening up the same kind of room for that to find you. Like, I get it, like living as if, you know, like, I think that is part of it, right? But they say that actually asking a question of the universe and allowing it to show up for you, like, universe, what needs to happen for me to bring more abundance into my life? How can I bring more joy into my life? Who are the next right people for me to, right? And then walking around as though the universe it's already here, because it is. You're just waiting for the quantum potential to collapse into 3D reality, you know. But questions are actually more powerful than statements when you're interacting with the quantum field and wanting to call something into your existence. So there's another little
I love it.
rabbit hole
Yeah.
for anybody that wants to dive down that one.
No, I think it's right on the money, because what the question will do that the statement will not is the question will open up opportunities for you to see what is actually there. So instead of putting icing on a shit pie, like it'll give an opportunity for things to arise into your consciousness to pay witness to that may be negating the experience that you're calling in. Or
yes, that's right.
You know?
Because actually the truth is, a lot of times what we think we want, the circumstance we think we want, isn't actually what we want. We want something else that we think that circumstance will give us. Like saying, I want $1 million, or I have $1 million. You may not actually care about that $1 million. You might just want the freedom that you think that $1 million will afford you to spend more time with your family or travel more or whatever. So what you really want is the travel and the family time and the whatever. But you're spending all this time saying you want this $1 million, and it's not the truth of what you're actually calling in. So there's even a dissonance in terms of the manifestation there. But when you ask a question, you know, okay, what will allow me to spend more time with my family? What will, right? Like sometimes the universe brings you an elegant solution or an elegant opportunity that you didn't think of when you were making your statements, getting very specific and narrow about what you're saying you want.
Yes, ma'am, 100%. And so I'll get on my soapbox for just one sentence and say, we need more people, not more prophets, working together, you know? It's so amazing how this culture puts the dollar bill in between most of the things we think we want, when in reality there's such a plethora of ways that we can experience richness. And whenever I'm around a group of generous people being generous with each other, I find that I am completely and 100% satiated in that, and that there's so much more richness that I didn't even realize I wanted, because I didn't even know it was on the buffet, you know, until someone shows up and says, oh, this is my medicine. This is what I've come here to bring. So 100% all the way around. If you're enjoying the conversation, chime in, leave notes in the comment box, because like I said, folks, we're going to be here most likely 7 days a week. We have much time with you. We love to have your take on it. These rabbit holes, we can make whole shows dedicated to them and see how far they go and how courageous we are to go where they're leading us. So let's get to I'm sorry, not sorry. You going to say something?
I laughed because I thought that was funny.
What part?
Just a sorry, not so, just go on.
Okay, beautiful. So yeah, sorry, not sorry is beautiful people. My aunt out there would say it to her son, my cousin Carlos, and my close people. She'd say, "You are not a sorry person." And the thing I've recognized over the years, and Betsy's going to laugh about this, is that in the beginning of our relationship, she would get really mad at me because I wouldn't say I'm sorry. I would be unwilling to say it. I would say, I'll talk about what happened. I'll talk about how I can do better, but I'm not using those words. And
I
so
still
and
get
I'll
mad
explain
sometimes.
why. Yeah, because people want to hear I'm sorry, just like people want to hear I love you. The sad thing is that they've been abused as words, and they've lost their meaning. So for me, love is an action. You show me you love me by how you act with me. Being sorry is an action. You show me you're sorry by changing your behavior. How many times have you said you're sorry to someone and continued the behavior, or someone said they're sorry to you and continued the behavior? That's not that's not a state of sorriness. That is a state of sorriness. It is the perfect word for that state of powerlessness and non-correctiveness and just like appeasement and like just saying what people want to hear.
For the people.
Okay.
Let's back up for a minute because let's just establish a baseline that for you. No, let's establish for the people that for you, the words I'm sorry have the words I'm sorry have a very specific. Okay, you're rude. Let me finish.
Yeah, go.
The words I'm sorry for you hold a very specific meaning. You have said you were sorry to me in the course of our relationship, and it has been specifically when you've been able to say you were sorry and never do that thing again.
Yep.
And
I've grown
so
from them, though.
that for you.
I used to think.
What?
I used to think that was the epitome of I'm sorry, like that was the moment to use it. But now I
changing your behavior.
No, it was changing. When you come to a point in your life where you have been doing something that does not work for you or the people around you, and you've cracked the code to be able to, with authority, say, I am ready to change my behavior for a more positive. That is the opposite of a sorry moment. That is a triumphant moment, because that means you are set free, and so is everyone around you that has been being impacted by the negative choices or actions we've been making. And so even there now, I don't believe. Yes.
So then here's a question. Do you believe in asking for forgiveness?
100%. Forgiveness and I am sorry are not the same thing. And forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It's not a gift we give other people. Forgiveness is when we set ourselves free. Asking for forgiveness is making a verbal communication that you realize that you've acted in a way that wasn't serving of the whole. And so that you let people around you know that you are an integrous individual, that people are safe around you because you're doing an internal analysis to make sure that you're walking in the best way possible. And that you're also
So how
open.
do you recommend asking for forgiveness? Or do you think you don't ask for forgiveness anymore? Do you just give notice? You say, hey, I realized I did this thing. I shouldn't have done it. I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's it? Like you never ask for forgiveness from people? Is that what you're saying?
So forgiveness is way bigger than this moment can hold. Once again, I can give you my idea as I have it today. That could change tomorrow, okay?
Well, I'm only asking because typically people associate I'm sorry with asking for forgiveness.
Yeah, no. The first state of forgiveness is being willing to, like I said, change your behavior. And the thing is, you could, sometimes it's a tricky subject because sometimes people will withhold forgiveness and they think they're harming you when great people have said it's like swallowing poison, and hoping the other person dies. It's an internal thing. So I think there's a deeper meaning, and I don't know. I can't honestly say that I understand it. I have asked for forgiveness. I'm not sure if that's the word that I would use. I was in a situation recently when I told the person that I think forgiveness would have been a perfect moment, but it didn't feel right. And what I told them was, if I was the man I am now, then I would have handled it this way. this is what I wish I would have been able to do. Me being in the misunderstanding and not being in the understanding that I have now, I showed up in a way that hurt you, and I carry that with me on my mental library, on my account of me. Carries the pain that I have caught, as well as it carries the joy that I have created. Sadly, sometimes the pain they feel stronger in our internal combustion, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, so I said, this is how I wish I could have shown up. And from now on, that's how I'll show up. Are you willing to allow me that space in your life again? Would you trust me? Can we heal what happened and make room for a new relationship to emerge? And that, in my opinion, gave the person authority to be like, no, I'm not ready to forgive yet. I want to hold on to this. And that is great. And then I'll say, well, then I'm going to pull away because I've learned my lesson. I'm willing to do better. I do not have to subject myself to certain things that may be coming unless they're about growing together. If we want to have conversations about growth, how do we impact it? What's the impact of it? Bring it back. Like, does that make sense? It's so tricky. It's like a nerve, man. It's like we're asking questions about surgery, and I guess this is the rabbit hole. This is a rabbit hole.
Well,
the sorry conversation is not a rabbit hole. I could tell you very clearly, if you remove the words from your vocabulary today and you start thinking what you really mean, people say, I'm sorry when they bump into you at a supermarket, when they really meant to say, oh, excuse me, or I didn't see you. Or they say, man, the universe has made us bump into each other. I wonder what it went through that trouble for. Like there might be a magic connection. And instead you say, I'm sorry, and the other person goes, oh, it's no big deal. So we're literally walking around reinforcing sorry conversations when we are powerhouses of intentionality here on mission for some reason that is very, very important. And the word I'm sorry. So let the people understand. Betsy is still defending I'm sorry. Part of Betsy
no,
still
actually,
believes
I'm
that
not.
there's a room and the vernacular for it. Are you sure about that? Because that's what I'm hearing, that like you're not quite ready to let it go. And so my transmission to the people can let it go is like meeting resistance on our show right now. And so maybe you and I are ready, but we're going to have it like in real time. But please don't say, no, it's not happening when it is happening, because that'll take us down a whole nother rabbit hole.
I'm actually having a realization as we're talking, which is that, like, the truth is the words I'm sorry have been taken up to be about forgiveness when it's kind of reductivist to do that. Because, like, if you think about, for example, the Hawaiian or the Polynesian practice of Ho'oponopono, right, which is a forgiveness practice. The traditional practice of Ho'oponopono was an actual ritual. Like, it was a ceremony where when there was a transgression, everyone would gather, the transgression was discussed, everyone would understand the wrongdoing, whose feelings were hurt. It was acknowledged, deep repentance was offered. There was a whole there was like a whole ceremonial thing, right?
Oof.
In order to not hold on to pain,
to free everyone,
and
anger. A ceremony to free everyone is what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
A liberation. There was a liberation.
Yes, that's right.
For everyone involved.
Well, it was an honoring. It was an honoring, and a letting go. Yeah. So and we've kind of taken these words "I'm sorry" and we throw them around, all the time, even for very minor. Like, we've talked about this from the beginning of our relationship. I still say sorry constantly because it's just, I'm from the Midwest and programmed into me, So I think that even as we're talking, I'm realizing that I think because I think I have historically defended the I'm sorry because I was like, well, we need to, when we transgress against one another, we need to apologize, you know, when we've hurt someone's feelings, when we've whatever. But I think that what you're saying and what I'm considering is like that there is also a need to take into severity, like, to what extent was there a transgression? Was it actually, like, is bumping into someone in a grocery store a transgression? No, it's not. It's an accidental, you know, like, it's not something you actually probably need to apologize for in that way. Like, you don't need to ask someone forgiveness for bumping into them, right? And just say, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see you.
I think that what it does is it asks us to really re-examine the nature of asking for forgiveness. And what is it? When do we employ it? How seriously do we take it? And how can we stop minimizing the practice of just kind of throwing around I'm sorry as a way to, like, get out of something in the day-to-day, you know, or apologize for something that doesn't even require an apology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So for the people out there, let me just say this at this point. For the sovereignty of myself and the sovereignty of Betsy, this is Love Batista giving you a message that there is really no place for I'm sorry in the sovereign, authentic, most powerful state of the human understanding. I love the idea of Ponopono. Like, there is the room for a ceremony, and it's only available when both people are conscious, because people will hold you to an old version of yourself because they've yet to go to the places in themselves where they have to deal with the ugly in them, the places where they've allowed the misunderstanding to use them against the people they love most. Most of us are hurting the people we love the most because they will take it because they love us. And that is a very hard thing to come to. My brother and John and I were saying the other day is that when you're raised to be a king, they teach you everything you need to know, from martial arts to diplomacy to borders to working on a severity of problems to heeding counsel to when to trust your gut. Everything you're going to need because you're going to be tested at a high level. But in our culture, we don't prepare our youth for a life of sovereignty and authenticity and authority. And so I felt in my life like that I had my sword backwards and I was grabbing the sharp end and like hitting everyone I love with the part that you hold. What is that called?
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. But you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine that? Like I'm literally cutting my own hands while I'm hitting the people that love me in a severity because I didn't understand who I was and what I was, and nobody showed up to tell me. And so all I had was what the world was saying. And so if a person isn't authentic enough to recognize their own missteps and misconduct, they will not forgive you. They will hold it over you because they're still pretending that they don't have shit that stinks. And so that's why I say that asking for forgiveness could be a trap. If it's not a person that's looking at you being like, man, I got you. When someone comes to me and tells me they've done something, I'm celebrating with them if they cannot do it anymore. I'm like, wow, you're freed up to learn a new lesson now. Because I promise you there's other things you're doing that aren't working for you or the people around you. So now that you've done that, you get to find something else. And I figure I'll be doing that to my last breath. And so I have a lot of grace and compassion for anyone around me. And I think you can attest to that, my love, as the way it shows up.
I sure can. Yes. Well, and it's interesting because in Judaism, they say that if you come in true repentance, if you ask for forgiveness 3 times, even if the person you're asking for forgiveness doesn't forgive you, you are forgiven because you have come in the state of true repentance, and it's about you and not like it's not about whether or not they receive it or grant it. Right?
I love it. That's liberation right there. Right? That's a tool. That's 3 steps to liberation, and I love that, and that's beautiful. Because I'm not diminishing communicating when we're out of integrity. I think it's very important to reinforce for yourself and the people around you that you are an integrous person. And once again, I love to be around other omega-orientated people because I feel safe around them, because I know that they are doing a personal account of themselves. So, like, I challenge people to catch me in an act before I catch me. Like, it's most of the time I come back and I go, man, this is what I was up to. And that's the kind of person I want to be around. And I personally would feel very peaceful with never speaking or hearing the words, I am sorry again. And I believe, and I'm telling you, the subconscious mind hears you every time you say it. And it's like a little schism to the being, because it's like, I'm infinite. I'm everything. I'm sorry. I'm a sorry person.
Yeah.
Like it's a shrinking to the nth degree. And right now, we don't need sorry people. We need empowered people, because there are moments coming where we will be tested. And we want the people around us to feel emboldened and courageous and strong and centered in themselves and ready to be the ally that they were born to be, and ready to be the ally that I was born to be. And we don't do that by diminishing each other. We do that by uplifting each other, making amends with each other, honoring the intensity of this human experience. The fact that we are literally becoming the role models we didn't have is an all-encompassing task, trying to find our ways out of the maze of the misunderstanding, with the precious time that we have, so that we can give our children something a little closer to heaven on earth.
Amen.
Amen. So, sorry, not sorry. And
sorry, not sorry for having that whole conversation.
We went all over the place. It's just live.
We did, except
last thing I want to say about that is that this is how we live. This is my commitment, is to live on the edge. And on the edge, things are messy. Things aren't scripted. They're not written. They're not organized. They're not, edited. It's just real time. And we want to have real conversations. And so the point of this is that we're most likely going to listen back one day and cringe about where we were and what we said and how we handled ourselves, because we're going to know so much more, and that means we're growing. But it doesn't deny the fact that we have something of truth and love to give to someone today. And so if one person is stuck in a sorry conversation and they free themselves and they liberate themselves and take one more step to claiming their amazingness, their power, then whatever mistakes we took today, this is a success. This is a success. So it is for me.
I hear that. And I think that the reason I wanted to just bring up the apology conversation is because I think that the words I'm sorry have gotten so conflated with the act of forgiveness. And people have so many feels about that, And I think that what you're bringing up in this conversation is, what are you actually saying by speaking the words, I am sorry? Like, what are you actually, like, it's like the words themselves, if you actually pay attention, are not even going out to the other person. They're diminishing your essence. Like, how you started, I'm not a sorry person.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally calling yourself a sorry person by saying, I am sorry. Instead of doing the personal examination on a regular basis, and if there's something for you to take accountability for, that's a different thing. But we've gotten so used to throwing around the words I am sorry and speaking out into the world that that's who we are.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're kind of calling out the phrase right now.
Yeah, 100. That's all it was. It's calling out the phrase. A person that's willing to take personal account out loud is courageous as all get out. And I know this because it happens so rarely that a person is actually able to go deep inside, call out what might be not the prettiest thing to look at, own it in the desire to do better. That is a courageous act. It is the opposite of a sorry person. Sorry people don't do courageous things. Courageous people do courageous things. So I prefer to say, I am courageous. I'm going to be courageous right now. Step into this thing, own all of it, and then do better.
Yes.
And then do better. And so if you still want to be in relationship with me, even though I did that to you, what you are going to receive is a better version of me. And you deserve that, and I deserve that. That's beautiful to me. So that's all I could take authority on. Everything else I said today is speculation. It's how the misunderstanding and the understanding is working in my sphere today. So, but those words, we can remove them, authorities from our vocabulary, get really choosy on what we're actually saying, replace it with that, and you're going to find freedom, power, and grace in doing so. Try it and let me know. Try it and let me know. Let me know how you feel inside when you choose something different and how it went when you spoke it to somebody else. I'd love to know.
Aho.
All right. Well, I just worked my tail off to remove it from our vernacular. Are you ready?
I was about to say I'm
take...
sorry for that, and then I caught it in my mouth.
you see that? You swallow it. How nasty it tastes. It even tastes nasty inside it before you even speak it. That's the first step. First you're gonna say it and be like, "Ooh, I did it again." Then you're gonna almost say it and swallow it and be like, "Oh, that's nasty." And then one day you're gonna see it coming and slap it before it comes to the pass. And one day it'll just stop coming because it knows it's not getting through. The one thing we have full authority on is what we say, folks. There's few things you have full authority on, and what comes out of your mouth is 100% yours. You get to choose what you say and don't say. And I think it's a powerful tool that's under communicated, that it's actually one of the few things that our sovereignty is absolute on. Our authority is absolute on. So, Betsy, are you ready to take the no sorry, not sorry pledge today and say you're ready to remove it from your vernacular?
Oh, why does that feel so uncomfortable? Why is that? I'm so used to saying it.
Exactly. Are you ready? You're my co-host, so you kind of need to do it. I'm so sorry.
I kind of need to do it. I need to do it. It's catching in my chest, but I'm taking on the challenge. How about that?
Okay. Take on the challenge. Do it for 30 days. Do it for 30 days and come back in 30 days. Sorry, not sorry, and come back and just tell us what you found in the not sorry.
All right.
And like you are meant to take up room. You came here to take up room. You came to do something amazing. You did not come here to shrink and hide out. You are born to greatness for a mission. And we are here to make heaven on earth, and that means you matter, we matter. So I love it. Thank you for taking it on. Anyone else on the radio waves, please state it here. And then let us hold you accountable for what you said you would do. And then come back with riches. Come back with empowerment so that the next person will hear what you got, and then maybe they'll take it on.
Yeah.
That's what we got for you, folks. I love you so much.
That's what we got.
You have a blessed day, and we'll be back at you with more. You ready for it, Beth?
Go out and make some good mistakes this week, y'all, in the name of growth. And don't apologize.
So, that's it.
All right.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, beautiful people. Thank you for listening. If you were moved by what you heard today, you know what to do. Like it, share it, spread the love around. Until next time,